like to first of all give thanks to brothers like Thugtician and Comic Genius, Sergeant, I think, Wooly P, and there's many other brothers. You know who you are, you know who they are, who are out there on the internet, especially on the YouTubes, and are using the medium and the format to discuss these issues that affect black men in this 21st century society. From the videos that I've listened to, watched, but actually they're more conscious videos where you have to listen and pay attention to. You brothers have really inspired even I to come forward in this medium and to communicate with one another as well as with others concerning these issues that are adversely affecting us and have been adversely affecting us for 400 plus years. And to many of us, while it may seem to, some circumstances may seem to be getting better, a lot of circumstances actually are getting worse. at least bitter. We may think they're getting better, but actually these situations are getting worse. At the heart of it is black male and black female relationship, but the main matter, or the main issue, concerns the black family, concerns the status of the black family. And at the heart of the black family is the male and the female, the father and the mother. And when we look at black people in the Western Hemisphere especially, those who have come or been brought to this Western Hemisphere since the trans-Ethiopic or transatlantic slave trade, however you would prefer to word it, but those of us who were brought to this hemisphere and endured the psychological, spiritual, physical trauma of slavery and still are faced with the byproducts of that traumatic event that reorientated or disorientated our entire being, our entire family, our entire existence was radically altered because of that experience of the transatlantic slave trade. We as black males, increasingly in the society, are viewed as suspects instead of as victims. And those of us who do recognize the victimization that we and our families and our women have experienced have yet to really come to terms with it and come to grips with it. This is why I think that the work that Thugtician has put in to this, Comic Genius, Sergeant Wooly P, and giving us a platform and a forum and an example to many of you other brothers out there and many of you other black males and even the black females, to articulate and to express this issue and these issues and related issues. So at the start, I first of all would like to give thanks to these brothers for what they are doing and what they have done and how they have inspired even myself, who have made several videos on other issues affecting our identity as a once lost but now found people, as the lost sheep of the house of Israel, as Beit Israel, as Ethiopian Hebrews. But we need to address this issue of the black family, because many of us have been looked at and seen and still are viewed as suspects instead of as victims. So the black male, is the black male a suspect? Or is the black male a victim? Of course, this will depend on your own personal experience, relation, interaction with black males. If you've had a positive, and this is if you're black or if you're not. If you've had a positive experience with black males, well, you're more likely to be able to recognize that victimization, that the system of things, the society, the law and the legal system. Often you hear people say, you can't judge me. You hear people say that a lot. You can't. Who are you to judge me? You, only God can judge me. This is the popular refrain, the popular idea. But it's a misunderstanding. It's a grave misunderstanding, because every day we are judged, and not by God or whatever one's conception, but religion, belief, or faith may be in the divine being, in a divine being, a supreme being, a deity, so forth and so on. But when people say that you cannot judge me, only God can judge me, and yet we have a legal system, yet we have a court system, yet we have a popular and public opinion, we have polls, we have survey says, and all of that, and that does judge people. People prejudice people. If you see a black man and he's wearing a certain type of clothing, if he looks a certain way, if he's a certain complexion, if he has a certain kind of hairstyle or fashion, people judge. Black people, white people, the society at large judges. If you go into a court system, you cannot say to the judge, you cannot judge me, only God can judge me. I mean, you can say that, but if you are brought up on certain charges, the courts will judge you as they feel is in accordance with whatever rules and regulations and whatever they regard as law. So we need to first of all come to grips with that. Though we can say that and we may feel that in our hearts, that you can't judge me, you can't judge me, only God can judge me. Every day we're in situations where others than God, or one's conception or idea of God, judges us and enacts punishments. See, this is where the rubber meets the proverbial road, that they enact judgments. There are judgments. So when the black male is seen as a suspect in this society and system, instead of more correctly and truly as a victim, and is continually being victimized in new high-tech ways. There are high-tech ways of lynching. There's high-tech ways of enslavement. But when one's say such a faulty, use faulty logic to try to escape or save face, or, look good before themselves and their friend. You can't judge me, only God can judge me. Just mind what you're saying, because we have and we live in a legal system which judges. And in another part of this, because of time constraints, I see that I'm gonna have to continue this idea and begin to get a little bit deeper into the ideas that we are bringing forward. But first of all, again, I would like to thank brothers Thugtician and Comic Genius and Sergeant Willie P. and the other brothers that are out there by various different screen names or whatever on the YouTubes and elsewhere. I give thanks for bringing up this, helping to form this platform and this movement. And I'm with you in this movement. This is your brother here. This is Yaden. Salam to Taina Yist Aling.